What's up, friend, and welcome back to another video here on the official MTG Arena YouTube channel. My name is Ashlizzle, and today we're going to have a look at my favorite deck in Standard right now that is also incredibly competitive. And based on recent results, I would go as far as to calling this deck a tier 1 deck list. This is Jeskai Oculus. So this Jeskai Oculus deck is basically a deck list that revolves around, you guessed it, the important Oculus. It's a 3-mana 5/5. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you exile 6 cards from your graveyard. Got flying. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you get to manifest dread, which is basically you look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them on the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature and the other in the graveyard. Turn it face up anytime for its mana cost if it's a creature card. So Oculus just really takes over games if not removed. But the downside to the Oculus is, of course, the fact that you need to have 6 cards in your graveyard in order to put it in play. Now, what we try to do in this deck list is just ignore that by putting the Oculus in the graveyard with all the discard to draw effects that are in here, and bring the card back out with Helping Hand and Recommission, which are both cheap reanimator effects that brings a creature card mana value 3 or less from your graveyard back to the battlefield, so we can get the Oculus back, but also all the other creatures in this deck list that are here to enable that strategy. Now, one of the new cards from Tarkir that absolutely pushes this deck over the top and in tier 1 territory, in my opinion, is Tursa Lightshatter, because it does everything we need it to do. Tursa has a 3-mana 3/3 with haste. When it enters, you discard up to 2 cards, then you draw that many cards. Whenever Tursa Lightshatter attacks, if there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, exile a card at random from your graveyard, and you may play that card this turn. So it does everything, right? It's got graveyard synergy, it fills up our graveyard, it's payoff for our graveyard being filled up. It does the discard to draw stuff, which is what we're looking for. You know, we want to like cycle through our deck quickly to get to the abhorrent Oculus. Fill up the graveyard to also get more Helping Hand and Recommission value. But Ursa also synergizes beautifully with the secondary win condition in this deck list, which is Prophet's Memory. 2-mana legendary enchantment. When Prophet's Memory enters, you draw a card, no maximum hand size. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've drawn more than 1 card this turn, you put X 1/1 counters on target creature you control, where X is the number of cards you've drawn this turn -1. Prophet's Memory is incredible in this deck list because nearly every creature we have ends up drawing one way or another. So you can grow your creatures pretty well, and it's also just a way for you to win the game without, having access to your graveyard. So sometimes, when people have their Rest in Pieces or their Ghost Vacuums, they'll try to exile your Oculus and shut down your reanimating side of the deck list. But then it's still very easily won if you just have a Prophet's Memory in play and you just focus on getting as much value out of that as possible. This is also where Inti is very powerful, in my opinion. 2-mana 2/2. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card, and when you do, put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature, and it gains Trample until the end of turn. So Trample, like a massive creature with a ton of 1/1 counters, thanks to Prophet's Memory, will do a ton of damage. And Inti also has a little bit of payoff for all these cards in this deck list that are discarding, because whenever you discard 1 or more cards, exile the top card of your library, and you may play that card until your next end step, thanks to Inti. So you can also get even crazier in this deck with Fear of Missing Out. This is also a super powerful card we're working with. 2-mana 2/3. When it enters, discard a card and then draw a card. If you have Delirium, when this creature attacks, for the first time each turn, if there are 4 more card types and 1 cards in your graveyard, untap target creature. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. So it gives you an opportunity to attack with your creature again. But when you do that and you get an additional combat phase, you also get an additional Prophet's Memory trigger. And that's kind of how the deck list goes all the way over the top, if you can manage to pull that off. But we haven't mentioned some other great upgrades from Tarkir for this deck list yet, because we're also playing Glacial Dragonhunt and Winternight Stories. So you might get by now that what we're trying to do in this deck list is just drawing cards, discarding cards, and Glacial Dragonhunt and Winternight Stories do a really good job at that in a couple of ways. Both these cards have Harmonize. Now, Harmonize is basically means that we can cast the spell from the graveyard by paying the cost, but you can also tap a creature you control to reduce that cost by X, where X is that creature's power, and then exile the spell. So, for instance, if we have a Winternight Stories in our graveyard and we have an Abhorrent Oculus in play, we can tap the Abhorrent Oculus, get a 5-mana discount on Winternight Stories, and cast Winternight Stories for 1 mana. Winternight Stories is a 3-mana sorcery, draw 3 cards, and then discard 2 cards unless you discard a creature card. What makes these Harmonized cards so good as well is that they make pretty good discard targets. Sometimes you're not really sure what to discard in this deck, but just shoving a Harmonized card in the graveyard means you can get it right back out again if you need to, which is also, again, a fantastic upgrade for this deck, in my opinion. Glacial Dragonhunt is the other Harmonized card, 2-mana sorcery, draw a card, and you may discard a card. When you discard a non-land card this way, Glacial Dragon Hunt deals 3 damage to target creature. So just solid removal, but it can also be used as a cantrip effect. Like, you don't have to discard something, but discarding sometimes is very good in this deck list if you want to fill up the graveyard, enable your reanimating strategies, or get some value from the Marauding Mako, which we're also playing in here. 1 mana, 1/1. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, you put that many 1/1 counters on this creature and a cycling cost of 2. And this guy can grow really big, really fast. And like I said, if you have a big creature, then you can just give it Trample and Inti, and that'll help you out pretty well. And that's kind of what we're looking at when it comes to the main board. The sideboard is, you know, tuned to the meta. We have Ghost Vacuums as Graveyard Hate. You have Destroy Evil as Enchantment Hate, but also, you know, to get rid of creatures with toughness 4 or greater. 3 copies of Chandra's Spark Hunter. Now, this card is going to get brought in if we think that our opponent has a ton of removal, if they're playing a control deck, or if we think they have a lot of graveyard hate and you might have to go out of your helping end and recommission strategies. We have 4 copies of Sheltered by Ghosts to help us out against the aggro decks. If we have a creature with a super high power, thanks to like Prop's Memory, putting a Sheltered by Ghosts on there can just gain you a ton of life. That can be good enough for you to win the game. Then we have 2 copies of Negate to counter target non-creature spell, and 2 Pyroclasms against, you know, decks that try to go wide. Like, imagine a bunch of Gory Steelcutter tokens or something. It will be really efficient against that. And that is the deck list that we're working with. So let's dive into the gameplay. Before we do that, don't forget to like and subscribe to the official Arena channel. And also, thank you so much, Wizards, for allowing me to make another video for you guys. If you like what you're seeing so far, I make videos daily over on my own YouTube channel as well, MTG Arena videos. And yeah, with that being said, let's play some Jeskai Oculus. All right, we go again. It looks good. The lands look good. The torches are solid removal. I'm getting some Jeskai control vibes from my opponent, though. I'm getting some Jeskai control vibes. Yeah, the Elegant Parlor is probably a pretty good giveaway. But we can get rid of our torches with all the discard effect cards that we have access to. I wonder if I just want to shove that in the graveyard, because I can bring it back out at any point anyways. And I would like to make my way over to Oculus, ideally. Oculus. Okay, let's go start off here with Fear of Missing Out. Oh, just gonna pitch a torch. And it's gone? Feels like a Lightning Helix waiting to strike. Really looking for Prop's Memory. That's a very good card in this like matchup. That is one of the cards you really want to find. Oculus or Prop's Memory. Okay, drawing a decent amount of lands here. Okay. Kind of... Yeah, we're just gonna slam Inti here. I wanted to recommission maybe, but they're gonna just have another counter spell here for Inti probably. Get lost, okay. Everything's just getting removed right now. They're not done yet. So there is a dragon counter spell that we need to pay 2 for, so I'm gonna try to do recommission here. And not play Mako first, because they could have the dragon counter, and I need to pay 2 if that happens. So I miss out on a point from the Mako, but it's okay, I think. We can get rid of this one right here. We have a little bit too many lands. Play another Fear of Missing Out. You could also do Winter Night Stories. I kind of like the idea of putting 2 Fear of Missing Outs down. Here. A little bit greedy, because like if they wipe the board, it's not the best, but... Let's get rid of the torch. Another land, okay. Does feel like they played like they have more removal, maybe. 3 steps ahead. Okay, interesting. So that means they're gonna wipe my board, probably. Or it could be Shiko into Helix. Yeah. Just gonna grab rid of that one. Or get lost and get rid of that one. Okay. Actually, don't mind these map tokens. I can try to grow my fear of missing out. Let's see if we can do that. Steam Core Scholar. Okay, Steam Core Scholar is good. So I think the way I want to go about this... keep this one on top till I have the fear of missing out in 5 power range. And then I actually don't still hate keeping this on top, to be honest. Especially if I'm gonna put the Mako in play here. Which I will do. So we have Delirium, we can swing, and we can untap. Push a little bit of damage. Or the other thing you can do is do Winter Night Stories right now and get the card. Especially when they're tapped out, it might actually be the right thing to do. Then again, I'd like setting up Mako too. Interesting spot to be in. If they play Shiko, they probably don't have the board wipe. If they had a board wipe there, they would have just fired it off, I think. So I'm gonna set up Mako. We'll see how that plays out. Rediscover the way. It's a good card, especially with Shiko. I really like that interaction. Good fun. Alright, there goes Shiko. Let's start off with Steam Core Scholar. Alright, we're just gonna get rid of that torch. We're gonna go Winter Night Stories. I'm gonna have to tap the Steam Core here. You know, it is that way sometimes. We currently have a 26% chance to hit a land. So that is the true definition of unfortunate, I guess. The true definition of unfortunate. Alright, well, you know, I could have swung there with the Mako, but I wasn't sure if they had, like, interaction or whatever. Okay, that's not bad. I wonder if I should just fire that off on Shiko. I have to get rid of this marauding Mako here. I mean, I do want to discard because it grows this as well. So let's do that on Shiko. I could try to fire it off again. How much is it? 6 mana? I'd have to tap something. Not sure about that though. Okay, it would have filled anyways. Good to know. I'm gonna just try again. This is greedy, but I'm gonna try and do it. Alright, so if I want to get rid of Shiko, I have to get rid of this. Because you need to discard a null land, so I guess that's what we'll do. Here we go. And tap the shark. I feel like the sharks might get blocked. Shark's trying! Sharky's trying! So many lands, that's the problem. Do still we handle that right though. Do still think removing Shiko was big there. I hope it's enough. And you know, if we could hit like a Tursa off the top, that would be awesome. Getting rid of these 2 lands here. Oculus, of course. We have 12 cards in a graveyard. We'd be able to just hardcast it. New Beza. Beza is a good card too. Okay. Dragon's cool. Let's see if we can do something with that. Craft memory. Good though. Good. I think I actually want to keep that. Alright, frost memory, let's see. Land? Not ideal. I got 6 power laying there. My goal is to get these cards out of 6 toughness. I feel. Okay, let's go and put this here. Because we can still do this. We can untap the fear of missing out, and then next combat we can put a counter on the Mako, so we can swing with this guy as well. You know, all things considered, if you are, like, based on the draws that we have, we are fighting for our lives, okay? We're doing so well, considering that we're an Oculus deck and 4 copies of Oculus are in the bottom 30 cards. We are fully flooded. We have not seen a Tursa. We're doing great. We're really trying to make it work as much as we can here. This is gonna be Jeskai Revelation now, isn't it? That's gonna hurt. We're fighting for our lives. We really are. Trying to figure out if there's like a way out at some point. Get rid of some of these lands. Surely we can find an Oculus here somewhere. Inti could be huge. Okay, Inti could be huge. You gotta think this one through. Alright, we got a Tursa as well. I don't have the mana to fire off Tursa and Inti, do I? I have 4 mana open. Definitely have to fire off Inti. Wish I didn't have to discard 2 things here. It is what it is, honestly. This is going to deal a lot of damage, that's all I know. Harmonize, I can only do it off the Mako because these are all 2 power. We get 3 counters here. I have to give it trample, right? I have to give it trample. Look how close we're getting. Like, honestly, this deck is... We're doing such a fantastic job getting through all this bad RNG. Still somehow not having an Oculus is also just unreal. Don't worry, we just have 4 copies of the card the whole deck is built around in the bottom 24. No big deal. No big deal. Oh well. We should only have gas at the top at this point. Like, there's 7 cards, or 7 lands left in the 24 cards left in the deck, so... Fighting for our lives. But at least we're, you know, playing a good game of Magic, you know? At the end of the day, we have that going for us. I'm really hoping we can clutch this. Yep, another Jeskai Revelation. Okay. No, I'll take it. Cool. All we need to do now is just draw enough cards to grow the Steam Core Scholar. Should be easy, right? So we need to draw 4 cards, and we also have Inti still. Let's think about that here. Do I grab back a Steam Core? Yes. So we do Steam Core, which gets us 2 cards. Alright, discard 2 cards. Okay. We can cycle Shark. Draw another card. Tursa. In fear of missing out, discard Tursa. Where are these Oculus at? There's the... There it is! Either way, we are, we're good, we're good. And we can do basically whatever here, really. Anyway, I could keep going for the funsies. Obviously, I don't need to do that, but we should already have more than enough here. Alright, well, you know what they say. Never back down. Never give up. Because we pulled that off. We pulled that off somehow. Surviving 2 Bezas, 2 Jeskai Revelations, and a ton of lands. And I think that just speaks to the power of the Oculus deck list. This is why I love this deck. But that was a lot of rough RNG there. We made it happen ultimately, though. Okay. What are we looking for here? We're against Jeskai control, so I think negates are appropriate. They have a high density of non-creature spells. We want Chandras. I think there's a pretty good chance that this opponent is going to have Rest in Peace. Well, no, they won't have Rest in Peace. They play Ghost Vacuum because they have Shiko, and Shiko wants to have the graveyard active. I could do Sheltered by Ghost against that. I think we definitely don't really care for Torches or Glacial Dragonons here. The Destroy Evils get rid of the powerful enchantments and the big creatures that they have, so that's a good hit still. Go a bit lower on some of the reanimating elements. Part of me is thinking you could go Sheltered, right? You could go Sheltered because it is a way to pick up the Ghost Vacuums. But I think I'm gonna try it and run it like this. That looks okay to me. We just want an aggressive hand. Ideally, we want some Prof's Memories if we can't really get a turn 3 Oculus or whatever. But Jeskai versus Jeskai, just 2 different versions of it. Alright, so after that flood, we now have 1 Inspiring Vintage. Okay. Well, I will not be risking that here. Alright, this is reasonable, I think. We got a Prof's Memory, we got a Steam Core Scholar. That already helps fixing some of the bad draws, some of the bad lands. Opponent did mold a 5. Let's start off with Thundering Falls, get a Surveil 1 going here. I will keep that actually, because I'm trying to set up the Steam Core Scholar. If I get an Oculus, I can bring it out. First up, let's see if this Prof's Memory resolves. I think they are... Ooh, if they had a counter, they would have definitely countered that. Immediately removed. That's valid. It's very valid. It's a good card. Chandra's here. Love to see it. Especially after they just used the Get Lost to get rid of the memory. Stock Up. Such a good card. It's unreal. Alright, so we're gonna fire a Steam Core Scholar, and hopefully we can find an untapped land so we can, ooh, Oculus. Alright, let's go Steam Core Scholar here. No untapped land, but we can shove Oculus in a graveyard and try to bring it back out with a recommission. Give them something to worry about. Let's go with Thundering Falls here. I don't hate an untapped land like that, but... see if we can do something with the Scholar. Maybe this can tempt them to destroy it. Ooh, I would like to get that negate. So this is where I'm considering take a different line now, because if I bring back Oculus, then my opponent could remove it. If I wait a turn, I could have Negate in my hand, then recommission, and I feel a lot better about it. So I might just fire off Inti here. Because if you bring Oculus out, it gets hit by the Manifest Dread, and then you just don't have access to it anymore. So I think this is the smarter play to make here. Gotta stay patient. Especially if their next turn could be Shiko and remove it again. Obviously, you do give them another opportunity to find Graveyard Hate. But we'll see how that plays out. Okay, let's see what Inti does first for us. Inti. Fear of missing out? Okay. So I feel pretty comfortable trying to recommission on Oculus here. Crystal's Flanker hits and exiles the graveyard. Okay, that's fair. Unfortunately, I have a negate. That's a creature, so I can't stop it. Fair, I guess. That's fair. Let's go Fear of Missing Out then and just get rid of the Winternet Stories here. Okay. I did miss a land drop. Crystal Flanker attacking me is a little suspicious. I will just take it. Could be that they wanted in a graveyard to replay with Chico or something. Or it can be that they just plan on wiping the board here, but I need double... Unless they have ill-timed explosion, they need double white for that. Okay. Frost Memory is nice, but I think I'm gonna go Chandra here. Chandra... Did we get a vehicle?
I'm a winner.
Yeah, let's get a vehicle here.
Rev 'em up.
We can crew this, or we don't crew it, we haste it and play. I think I'm just gonna hit him for 6 here. Could be that they have a card they want to play and they want to activate Mistrise Village first, but I'm not gonna be worried about that right now. John is at 4 loyalty. You can really not see that because I'm sitting in front of it, but she's at 4 loyalty and she now went down to 1 because it could still attack. See what Steam Core does for us. I'm like trying to Oculus in there. Okay, we can Oculus in the graveyard. Looking for an untapped land, maybe. No, all right. Actually, thinking about just making another vehicle here. Because eventually those vehicles will turn into a very powerful... Like, I could tap the Scholar here and crew another one, but I kind of want to hold back the flanker, see if I can keep the Chandra alive a little bit longer. So let's just animate one vehicle here and swing with Inti. I could get rid of a Prof's Memory here. Put a counter on the vehicle, perhaps. Maybe we draw a land? Like, Prof's Memory is legendary anyway, so... Okay. Alright, we're just gonna have to be disciplined and pass the turn here. Just hold up that negate, you know? Put him in a tough spot. Yep, we're just gonna block that. Could be what they've been waiting on, because it's a Shiko target, but I mean, if Shiko doesn't take out Chandra or whatever, like, I'm okay with that, I guess. Oh, something... Temporary lockdown. Alright. Uncounterable temporary lookdown. Alright, sure. Blue profts. Make yourself cool.
Rev 'em up.
Rev him up. Okay, here we go. Unfortunately, not a way to get the profs trigger on here. Unfortunately. Stock up. I'm gonna have to counter that. That's fine. Counter's vehicles have haste, so... Alright, we just got ourselves a helping hand as well. Is there anything we can do here? Let's just bring the Oculus back out. And also just do Winter Night Story still. No, I'm okay. Go, put a landed here, get another vehicle, give it haste, and then the opponent goes to 1.
Now that's a winning ride. Push it to the limit.
Get an Oculus. Ursa. Ooh, that would have been a cool card to get off top there, because that would have just had haste and done the trick. But I think we pulled it off. No jinx, of course, no jinx. But I think we're getting somewhere. Explosion is gonna wipe this board, maybe? They need to hit like a dragon to get an Oculus range. Yep, Chico. Okay. But then still, what are you gonna do about Chandra? You need to deal with Chandra, and I still have Scholar, which can crew the vehicle. So we have this game. GG's! I think that game did a fantastic job to show the resilience of the Oculus deck list, you know? That was nice. I mean, this looks really good. We got good lands, we got 2 torches, Mako, and Scholar. This is yeah, this is a really good hand. I mean, obviously there's no Oculus in here, but this is still perfectly good. Alright, let's play the advantage. I'm trying to figure out if we want to hold this torch or... Yeah, I mean, they're probably always going to play a mouse on turn 2 anyways, I would guess. Yeah, an Emerhard Challenger. It's a Quarry Steel. Ooh. Okay, let's get rid of this. We need to buy ourselves as much time as we can. Okay. Interesting. Let's go and do this. Mako can grow pretty nicely with the Scholar. We're probably just gonna have to like torch the Quarry Steel token again. 2 spells incoming. For Quarry Steel value. Burst Lightning. That's rude. Yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of this. While I'm at it. Okay. I can get some audio up in here. Recommission? Nah, let's do Steam Core Scholar here first. Hopefully we can get some good value out of this. Oof. That's not really what I was looking for. Definitely get rid of this. Just trying to figure out if we want to keep this one or work with the Surveil land. It's probably the Surveil land. Well, it depends, of course. Now let's keep the untapped land here. It is a pain land, which is a bit unfortunate, but I can see. We might just want to block with the Steam Core Scholar so we can bring it back out. Bolt Wave, okay. Let's block the Trample one. Dragonaunt's good. That's a good card. Trying to see here because I can still recommission too. I think I start off with a recommission. The dig's a bit deeper. Let's go Scholar here. Because if we hit an Oculus, ooh, then we definitely want to do this the other way. Yep. All right. Let's get that Oculus out. It is one of the things with this deck list is like, sequencing is really really tricky sometimes. I feel like it's a very intricate deck list. There's a lot of lines, a lot of things happening all the time, a lot of ways to play it optimally, but once you get the hang of it, it's very rewarding in my opinion. Oof, Heartfire Hero, okay. It becomes very rewarding. Okay, and a Cory trigger. Good stuff. Alright, we're gonna have to shove the Steam Core Scholar here. We're taking a lot of damage. Unfortunate. Yeah, alright. It is what it is. Might actually go into 1. This'll be fine. Don't worry, don't worry. It's fine, especially with these pain lands. What could possibly go wrong? They were even playing Bold Waves too. Yikes. I get rid of the shark here. They're just dealing a little bit too much damage to us right now, I'm afraid. Part of me knows that I need to try and close this game out too. I'm tempted to hold back, but we need to attack. Like, our opponent has so many outs at this point. We cannot just... We can't afford to wait here. It's a great moment here with the Winter Night Stories because of the Harmonize. It's now in the graveyard with the Manifest Dread. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried. 1 life is just, you know, 1 Burst Lightning, 1 Bolt Wave. You name it, they can get it. Yeah, we gotta find a way out here. We do have the fear of missing out with Delirium active, so maybe we can set up a really good turn. Oh, if they can get 2 triggers here, it could just be over. Yeah. Cory Steelcutter is a good card, you guys. It's a good card. Alright, I mean, we took a risk there. I think it was still worth it. But they just had so much pressure with the Heartfire Hero and the Rages and infinite tokens being created every turn. It just wasn't good. Alright, so what we're gonna do here is we're definitely gonna bring in our Sheltered by Ghosts. I think we're gonna bring in our Pyroclasms too. Winter Night Stories is a card we can get rid of. I tend to go lower on... Let's see. Maybe a 1 Glacial Dragon Hunt here, because we'll have a lot of removal. Inti does die to Pyroclasm, but... it can still grow us pretty well, but I do think I am always down to cut Inti a bit, and maybe we'll get rid of a Mako or a Helping Hand. Maybe a Helping Hand here. And then we hope it's gonna be enough. It's just hard, right? They had a really good hand. We had a good hand too, but we just took way too much damage too fast because of the Cory steals. Those 2/2 tokens with haste are no joke. You know? No joke. Oh well. We have Sheltered by Ghosts now that hopefully, if it shows up, we can put ourselves in a better spot for sure. Could be that they play some Graveyard Hate too, but then Sheltered by Ghosts can at least deal with that, so... It is what it is. That was a good game, though. That was a good game. Cory Steelcutter. Am I right, guys? Here we go. A lot of sharks. A lot of sharks. Honestly, we do also have 2 torches. I will see if we can make it work here. It's not a perfect hand where we get a turn 3 Oculus, but we're gonna make it work, I hope. Shark here. I'll probably just be tempted to just torch that immediately. We can cycle this Mako and buff these guys up if we need to do that. Is it Cory Steelcutter? Card is like manageable when it's just one of them, but when it's 2 Cory Steelcutters, it's so impossible. Alright, here goes the first. Here goes the first. Actually, just gonna cycle one out to get that damage. Pull back with this one. Sheltered is great. Okay, okay. I can grow these a little bit further. That'd be nice. Iron Claw followed up by Iron Claw. Okay. 2 Higher Claws. You're gonna swing with the Quarry. We're gonna go and torch this. Considering if I want to... I'm gonna be a bit greedy here because I do have the shelter set up. My friend. A little bit far off from you, I guess, but... If this is removal, it's gonna really feel bad. Feels bad. Feels bad. It's exile too. Okay. That needed to stick. Ideally, I put it on any different creature, right? Ideally, but... Monstrous Rage. Man, that's tough. They drew so well. They drew so well. That's really tough. Yep, guess I gotta put my shark here. Ursa is cute, but I want to hold up red-white just in case. Nope, we get a land out of that, chat. Nah, that's just, you know, it's just really unfortunate. They drew pretty much flawless, and we stumbled a little bit. That burst lightning was just devastating, but you have to go for it, right? Like, you have to go for it. We didn't have any other way to grow our sharks. It is what it is. Like, they could even equip Corey Still to the Heartfire hero here and give it haste, which would be insane. Nope. Nope. Horrible. And it's another Monstrous Rage. It's like... Right. Well. That's all.